Leah. Listen, I meant what I said this morning. There is no anti-gun violence movement that wins without young people. This is your movement. You are seeing it in real life. Let me just take one quick point of personal privilege. I get to engage in this fight every single day alongside the best delegation in the country. You saw Senator Blumenthal up here earlier, but I am also joined here today by three members of the House delegation, Representative Rosa DeLore, Representative Johanna Hayes, and Representative John Larson. Give them a big round of applause. They are all fighters. So I am the only thing standing between you and the President of the United States. So I am going to get right to the point. And the point is this: the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act that we are celebrating and talking about today would not have happened without Joe Biden. When we say it's been 30 years since we beat the NRA, what we really mean is that it's been 30 years since Joe Biden beat the NRA, right? It was Senator Joe Biden and a handful of others who took on the NRA and the gun lobby in the 1980s and the 1990s and secured passage of those landmark pieces of legislation, the Brady background checks bill and the assault weapons bill. Joe Biden was fighting and beating the gun lobby before anybody else was. He knows how to do it. And last summer, after Uvalde, Joe Biden stepped up again. In the days after the shooting, we had begun early bipartisan meetings, but most of the pundits, they just wrote us off, right? They'd seen it before. A mass shooting happens, followed by some chatter of action, and then nothing. Republicans and Democrats just retreating to their corners. The week after Uvalde was a recess week for Congress, so we were all going back to our states and to our districts. We were leaving town. Even more reason to think that this momentum, whatever we had, was going to vanish. But then I got a call from the White House. They told me that the president was considering going on television, using one of his few precious primetime addresses to challenge Congress and the country to make this time different. He called me, and we talked about how some people were saying that this time wasn't going to be different, that some people were saying that a speech wasn't going to make any difference. But he told me, I care about this issue so deeply in my bones, the safety of our kids, that I'm willing to take any chance, no matter how remote, to get something done. If I give this speech, is it going to help? He asked. I told him he would. And you remember this address, this emotional, heartfelt plea to the nation at a moment when we could have lost all of that momentum. And along with his daily support of our month-long talks, Joe Biden is the biggest part of the story as to why the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act became law. Now, President Biden knows the feeling of loss, and maybe that's why he wears his feelings about this issue on his shirt sleeve. Maybe that's why he feels this connection to many people in this room who have lost loved ones to this epidemic. Maybe that's why he's joined us here today, to help us talk about the progress we've made and the progress that we are going to make. But I will end by saying what I have said now 2 different times on this stage over the course of today. I believe that the next decade is our movement's decade, a decade to consistently make changes to our laws to make our communities and our kids safer from gun violence. And that opportunity exists because we have a president who eats, sleeps, and breathes the fight to end this epidemic. Our president, President Joe Biden.